Snowbirds aren't returning, hotel rooms are empty, and shops near the border are shuttered. This isn't merely about a few vacation cancellations. Canada's silent tourism boycott is devastating entire American towns. Places that once boomed with Canadian dollars are now facing a severe economic storm they never anticipated. Some states are losing billions, while others are watching vital lifelines like ski resorts, golf courses, and beach towns wither into ghost zones. Which state is suffering the most, and could your local economy be next? Stay with us as we reveal the 10 U.S. states most severely impacted by Canada's quiet retreat. Number 10, Hawaii. Paradise is rapidly losing its lifeline. Hawaii, the dream vacation for thousands of Canadians each winter, is witnessing its snowbird season melt away. Bookings from Canadian tourists dropped by 14% through mid-February 2025. This might not sound like much until one considers how deeply Hawaii depends on international visitors. Hotels in Maui are half full, local tour guides are struggling to find clients, and rental condos that once booked out a year in advance are now sitting empty. Tourism accounts for nearly one-fifth of Hawaii's entire economy. When just one market retracts, the ripple effect escalates into a wave. Now, imagine that wave hitting small businesses, restaurants, and workers who rely on Canadian dollars just to survive. Without warning or a backup plan, can Hawaii endure if its sunniest customers never return? Because in the islands, when the planes stop coming, everything else begins to crack. Number 9, Texas. Texas, one of the most visited states by Canadians, is now among the hardest hit. With its Sun Belt cities and winter getaways, Texas has quietly lost over $1.4 billion USD in tourism revenues solely from Canadians pulling back. This isn't speculation, it's a projection from the United States Travel Association if this trend persists. Fewer Canadian snowbirds mean fewer hotel stays, fewer meals in local restaurants, and fewer dollars flowing into cities like San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. These ripple effects are already being felt by small businesses, seasonal workers, and entire counties that depend on international tourism to survive. Could this be the beginning of a larger collapse in southern tourism? Before we reveal the next state, and trust us, it's worse, make sure to subscribe. Number 8, Maine. Charming coastlines, lobster shacks, and tree-lined highways stretch into the distance. Yet, behind the postcards and serene scenes, something is breaking. Maine's economy is deeply intertwined with Canadian traffic, especially that which crosses the border by car. In 2025, that flow didn't just slow down, it plummeted. Between February and April, Maine saw 166,000 fewer crossings from Canadian visitors compared to the same period last year. That's a staggering 26% drop. For a state that relies on cross-border tourism, particularly during spring and early summer, this isn't just a red flag, it's an alarm bell. Hotels in Bangor are reporting longer stretches of empty rooms, and outlet malls in Kittery are seeing fewer license plates from Quebec and New Brunswick. Small towns that typically prepare for Canadian day trippers are suddenly cutting staff, shortening hours, or closing early. Number 7, Washington. At first glance, everything appears normal. Cars on the highway, ferries in the distance, coffee shops buzzing. But closer inspection of the border towns reveals cracks. Washington state is facing a quiet crisis, beginning with fewer Canadians arriving. For decades, residents from British Columbia poured into Washington for day trips, shopping sprees, gas fill-ups, Seahawks games, or simply a cheaper night out. However, over the Family Day weekend in 2025, 3 of the main border crossings told a very different story. Peace Arch was down 45%, Pacific Highway down 34%, and Sumas down 11%. These are not just numbers, they represent empty hotel rooms, silent checkout counters, and cancelled dinner reservations. The hardest hit are small cities like Blaine, Lyndon, and Bellingham, where Canadian dollars have powered local economies for years. Number 6, Michigan. Stand on the edge of the Ambassador Bridge, and you'll observe it. A lifeline that once pulsed with Canadian traffic is now thinning out daily. Michigan isn't just a neighbor to Canada. It's a gateway, a magnet, and lately, it's losing its grip. Cross-border visits from Canadians, once a dependable boost to cities like Detroit, Port Huron, and Sault Ste. Marie, have dropped sharply in 2025. Between January and April, Michigan saw a 19% decline in visits from Canadian travelers. That translates to tens of thousands fewer shoppers, casino goers, and overnight guests. Walk through downtown Detroit, and you'll hear stories from hotel managers, bartenders, and shop owners. We used to count on Windsor folks every weekend. Now it's quiet. Number 5, Arizona. The golf courses are still green, the skies are still clear. But listen closely in Arizona's Sun Belt towns, and you'll hear the silence. Thousands of Canadian snowbirds used to flock to Phoenix, Mesa, and Yuma each winter, transforming sleepy suburbs into bustling mini-cities. Now, RV parks have open spaces, condo rentals are sitting vacant, and local businesses are quietly starting to panic. In 2025, Canadian travel to Arizona dropped by 22% during peak season. That's tens of thousands of missing visitors and, with them, millions of dollars in spending. Restaurants in Tucson that once catered to loyal Canadian customers are trimming staff. Golf resorts near Scottsdale are slashing prices. Even car dealerships and healthcare clinics, two industries snowbirds fuel in the off-season, are reporting noticeable slowdowns. Number 4, New York. The border appears normal, the skyline still shines. But head north toward Buffalo, Niagara Falls, or Plattsburgh, and the cracks begin to show. New York isn't just a global hub, it's one of Canada's favorite U.S. playgrounds. And right now, that relationship is rapidly deteriorating. In early 2025, Canadian visitation to New York dropped 25% year over year. And here's the shocker: Western New York took the hardest hit. That means fewer cars crossing the Peace Bridge, fewer shoppers packing outlet malls, and fewer families booking weekend getaways just across the line. For cities like Buffalo, this is more than just a tourism dip, it's a warning. Canadians once fueled a steady stream of revenue: day trips, sports events, cross-border medical visits. Now, foot traffic has slowed, and businesses are feeling it. Number 3, Nevada. Bright lights, endless slot machines, streets packed with tourists from around the globe. But lately, there's a strange calm in the crowd. Nevada, especially Las Vegas, used to be a magnet for Canadians. In fact, Canadians comprised one of the most reliable international groups visiting the Silver State. But now, they're vanishing. In 2025, Canadian tourism to Nevada dropped by 28% in just the first 4 months of the year. And it's not just flights or hotel bookings. Casino floors are quieter, show seats are going unfilled, and the ripple effects are rapidly expanding. Step inside a resort on the Strip, and you'll hear whispers from staff. We used to see waves of Canadians. Now we're just hoping they come back. Number 2, California. Palm trees, Pacific sunsets, Hollywood glitz. But here's the twist: Canada's fading interest could cost California billions. This state was once the crown jewel of Canadian tourism. From Vancouver to Toronto, families flocked here year-round. Disneyland in winter, wine country in spring, Pacific beaches all summer long. But in 2025, the tide shifted, and rapidly. Canadian arrivals are down 21% statewide, and in some regions like San Diego and Santa Barbara, the hit is even deeper. Local tour operators, hotel managers, and airport authorities all report the same thing: fewer bookings, shorter stays, lower spending. That's a big deal. Canadians are not casual travelers in California, they're premium spenders. They rent cars, book guided tours, and dine in high-end restaurants. And now they're pulling back. Number 1, Florida. Sunshine, beaches, theme parks. But pull back the curtain, and Florida might be the biggest casualty of Canada's tourism slowdown. Why? Because no other U.S. state has bet so heavily on Canadians showing up every single year. From Fort Lauderdale to Sarasota, from Orlando to Naples, Canadian tourists have been the lifeblood of Florida's winter economy. In fact, Canada sends more visitors to Florida than any other foreign country, contributing over $4 billion USD in spending annually. Or, rather, they used to. In 2025, the numbers tell a different story. Canadian arrivals are down nearly 25% compared to pre-pandemic levels. And unlike other markets, they haven't bounced back. This list isn't just about numbers, it's a warning. When international ties break down, the fallout hits local businesses, families, and entire economies. From Florida's fragile coastlines to Hawaii's isolated paradise, the ripple effects of Canada's tourism retreat are real and growing. If your state made this list, it's time to ask tough questions about resilience, diversification, and what comes next. If you found this eye-opening, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps us keep digging deep, connecting the dots, and bringing you stories others overlook. Stay tuned, because the next trend might hit even closer to home.